We don't really want to sell, but okay, for $1.6 million, you got a deal.
Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who started Google, haven't been seen much in public since they stopped working directly at the company. Let's discuss why they've stepped back and what this means for Google and the tech world. After many years in charge of Google, the two founders decided to stop working on the company's everyday tasks. This wasn't surprising because they always preferred to stay out of the spotlight and avoid interviews and public events. When they stopped actively working at Google, it was a big change, and Sundar Pichai became the new main person representing the company. Larry and Sergey are very private people. They don't like using social media and try to keep their personal lives hidden. Larry has problems with his voice, and Sergey had some personal problems in the news. These things might have made them not want to be in the public eye anymore, so they decided to step back from their company. In 2019, Larry Page and Sergey Brin decided to stop working from day-to-day executive roles at Alphabet, the company that owns Google. This might seem like a surprise, but it actually happened over a long time. Even though they started Google several years ago, they had been slowly separating themselves from the company for several years. In recent years, Page and Brin gave their management responsibilities to other people so they could work on different projects they were interested in, like self-driving cars, robots, and even technology to help people live longer. They left the day-to-day work of running Google to Sundar Pichai, someone they trusted who became the CEO in 2015. In 2019, Google and its parent company Alphabet were completely separated. In a letter, the founders of Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, explained they were stepping down from their roles at the company. They used the analogy of raising a child, saying after 21 years it was time to be proud parents and let Google grow on its own. These two men played a big role in shaping the internet and Silicon Valley as we know them today. For the past several years, they were in charge of a company that was very important during a significant time in business history. The co-founders of Google are leaving the company to work on other things. They made a lot of money at Google and believe technology can fix the world's problems. This comes as society and governments are trying to understand the impact of the internet. Google is facing legal troubles and new rules in many countries. They're also having problems with their employees and are trying to improve their image. Mr. Pichai, not the company founders, would be in charge of leading Google through this difficult time, which is the hardest the company has ever faced. According to Shane Greenstein, a Harvard professor who studies Google, the company's founders, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, are great at solving technical problems, but not good at dealing with legal and policy issues. These complex issues are now the main challenges facing Google, and Professor Greenstein thinks they're not a good fit for Brin and Page's skills and interests. Larry Page and Sergey Brin were both students at Stanford University when they met. In 1996, they worked on a school project to improve how internet searches ranked websites. They tried to sell their idea to other companies, but no one was interested, so they decided to start their own company based on their project. An innovative idea led to a company and product that acts like a hidden fee for using the internet. Many people use Google's search engine to find things online, and Google makes money by showing them personalized ads based on their searches. Google has become very powerful in several areas. Almost everyone uses their search engine. Their software is on most smartphones, and for many young people, YouTube has become more popular than TV. Some people noticed that as Google got bigger and stronger, the people who started it didn't seem to want to be in charge anymore. Greenstein said that the founders were never really interested in being business owners. He thinks they would probably rather be teachers with their own labs to work in. In 1998, formally, Mr. Page and Mr. Brin started Google. They were good at business, but investors didn't think they were experienced enough to run a company that could become very big. In 2001, Google's board wanted the founders, Page and Brin, to hire someone experienced to run the company. Page and Brin chose Eric Schmidt, who used to be the former chief executive of the software company Novell, to be the new leader of Google. They picked him partly because they all got along well at Burning Man, the arts festival in the Nevada desert. At first, the founders of Google didn't want a boss, but they ended up liking Mr. Schmidt. A book called In the Plex says that one good thing about Mr. Page not being CEO anymore is that he doesn't have to talk to advertisers and investors anymore. Instead of just focusing on search, the founders of Google decided to try new things, like making maps of the world, putting books online, creating smart machines, and building phone software to compete with Apple's iPhone. In 2005, Mr. Page went to a competition in the California desert where self-driving cars raced against each other. This was a new and exciting idea at the time. At the DARPA Grand Challenge competition, he met Professor Sebastian Thrun from Stanford University, who was a leader in developing these driverless cars. I was flabbergasted that a founder of a search engine company would attend a robot race, Mr. Sebastian Thrun said in an interview. It wasn't long before Larry pushed me to start the chauffeur team. Google started a secret project in 2009 to build a car that drives itself. This project, called Chauffeur, was led by Mr. Thrun and closely supported by Google's top leaders, Mr. Page and Mr. Brin. While many big tech companies are now involved in transportation, Google's project was quite surprising when it became known in 2010, as it was unusual for an internet company to be building a car at the time. "I didn't think of Google as a transportation company," Mr. Thrun said, but Larry thought of Google as a company that pushed innovation in any area. Thrun led Chauffeur under Google X, which tried to develop unusual and difficult technology, like things from science fiction. Many of their ideas, like elevators to space, jetpacks, and teleportation, didn't work out. But they're still working on some other ideas, like drones that deliver packages, kites that generate electricity, and balloons that beam internet access. The lab was an idea that the people who started Google came up with, similar to other innovative projects they have. One of the founders, Mr. Brin, was tired of his management duties and wanted a new project to work on, according to Michael Jones, who co-founded Google Earth and worked at Google for 11 years. He was always frustrated in what to do. "You can't engineer from the top," Mr. Jones said. He wanted to go build things. Mr. Brin, one of the founders of Google, moved to the company's main location in California. There, he started working on new ideas like special glasses with computers in them, flying machines that deliver things, and floating platforms in the water that could store data. In 2011, Mr. Page became the CEO of Google again and was well received. However, he soon showed again that he wanted to be the leader but did not want to handle the daily tasks of the job. 3 former Google executives who did not want to be named said that Mr. Page did not seem interested in the routine parts of the CEO job. They said he was annoyed by having to deal with things like arguments between executives and competition between different departments, which are normal parts of running a company. In 2013, during a company financial meeting, Mr. Page was questioned by analysts about the company's spending on research projects that might not make money. Mr. Page told them to focus on the long term and said they should encourage him to spend even more on such research. This was the last such meeting Mr. Page attended. "I know you would all love to have me on, but you're also depending on me to ruthlessly prioritize my time for the benefit of the business," he told analysts. Even though Mr. Page was busy at Google, he still had time to work on other projects on the side. For a long time, he and Mr. Thrun had been talking about creating a new type of transportation, a personal aircraft that runs on electricity. Instead of trying to build it at Google, they decided to work on it themselves, using Mr. Page's own money to pay for it. "We felt flying was too far out for Google and for their shareholders," Mr. Thrun said. Larry Page, who has funded several flying car companies in the past, is now backing a company called Kitty Hawk that makes electric aircraft. He visits the company often. Page and his fellow Google co-founder, Sergey Brin, have also invested in other futuristic projects, including asteroid mining, space travel, and even an airship. They even helped fund Tesla, the electric car company. If you liked watching our interesting video, stay tuned to our channel and subscribe. Click on like and comment.